Imagine this. The floodwaters are gone, the world is silent, washed clean, and just waiting. This is the story of a second chance, a new beginning for humanity, sealed not just with words, but with a promise made of pure light.
And it all starts with a simple command. 4 words. That's it. But these 4 words signal the end of judgment and the very first breath of a brand new age. For Noah and his family, this is it, the moment they step out of survival mode and into their future.
So, let's set the scene. This isn't just about getting off a boat. This is about crossing a threshold from a world that was into one that has been completely reborn.
And what a threshold it was. I mean, the ark was a monster of a structure, 510 feet long, just resting there on a mountainside like a wooden cliff. Can you even picture the sheer scale of this thing? The only reason anything was left alive was right inside that hull.
And then the doors open. The sight must have been absolutely breathtaking. You have streams of animals just pouring out into this misty new morning. Every creature, big and small, moving out, finding its own way. Life is literally spreading out from the shadow of the ark.
And right at the center of this incredible dispersal, these 3 guys, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons. These are the founders of the new world. The source material is crystal clear on this. The entire planet was going to be repopulated through them.
Now, you'd think the first thing Noah would do is, I don't know, have a party, a celebration? But nope. His very first act on this new earth is a solemn ritual. He builds an altar. He knows this new beginning has to be built on something sacred.
And check out the timing here. It's super specific. They get off the ark on the 27th day of the 2nd month. But Noah waits. He waits until the new moon of the 3rd month to build that altar. This tells you it wasn't just a spontaneous thing. It was deliberate, planned, a sacred appointment.
And what he offers, well, it's not just for his family. He uses the blood of a kid to make atonement for the guilt of the earth itself, a world that had been scarred by everything that happened. Then comes the whole shebang. Burnt sacrifices, oil, wine, even frankincense. And this smoke, this pleasing aroma rising up, it becomes the catalyst for everything that happens next. It's like a bridge between the world of man and the heavens, a physical signal that gets an immediate divine response.
And this is it. This is the climax of the story. The offering is accepted, and what comes next is a promise that will change the world forever. A covenant forged not just in words, but in light itself.
This is a total reset. The judgment is over, the promise is clear. The ground won't be cursed like this again. And instead, we get a promise of stability. The basic, predictable rhythms of nature, planting, harvest, summer, winter, they are locked in, forever. This is the new operating system for reality.
And with this new order comes a brand new hierarchy in the world. A fear and dread of humanity is placed on every living creature. The entire relationship is reordered, putting the animal kingdom under mankind's authority and, really, its care.
Humans are also given permission to eat meat now, but it comes with a massive condition, a principle that will echo down through history. You can't eat flesh that still has its lifeblood in it. Why? Because the very essence of life is in the blood.
So, this command isn't just some simple dietary rule. No way! It becomes the foundation of a solemn oath, a law that's going to bind not just Noah and his family, but every single generation that follows.
It breaks down into 3 pretty clear parts. First, the command itself, super straightforward. Second, the oath. Noah and his sons personally swear to obey it forever. And third, the consequence. And it is severe. Anyone who breaks this rule will be cut off. The stakes are incredibly high.
And let me just stress this law has no expiration date. It is an eternal covenant meant to be handed down from generation to generation as a permanent sign of respect for life itself.
But the covenant goes even deeper. It's not just about rules and oaths, it's about the very fabric of reality. The final part of this promise is basically a celestial blueprint for time itself.
And the most famous symbol of this, of course, is the rainbow. But it's so much more than just a pretty arc in the sky. It's a divine reminder. When that bow appears, it's a sign of the promise to never ever destroy the world by flood again.
Now, get this. The covenant wasn't supposed to be a one-and-done historical event. It's a living promise designed to be actively renewed every single year through a sacred festival called the Feast of Weeks.
The text even says this festival was celebrated in heaven since creation.
And this new calendar they're given, it's deeply personal. Its key dates, the new moons of the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th months, they're tied directly to the major events of their survival story. The calendar itself becomes a memorial, a way to remember their journey from total destruction to salvation.
The year is set at exactly 364 days. And that's not a random number. What does it give you? A perfect cycle of 52 weeks. It's a divine, flawless order imposed on what could have been the chaos of time.
That with this perfect order comes a pretty serious warning. If they abandon this divine calendar, they're basically inviting chaos right back into the world. Seasons will get messed up, years will go out of sync, and the entire sacred rhythm of life, it'll just be lost.
And this wasn't just a what-if scenario. It was a straight-up prophecy. The text says Noah kept this order, but his kids, his descendants, they would disrupt it. The calendar and its feasts would be forgotten, and it would take figures like Abraham and Moses to come along later and rediscover this divine pattern.
So this whole epic story brings us back to one core idea. The covenant wasn't just a promise. It was a structure for law, for reality, and even for time itself. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. If time itself is a covenant, what do we really lose when we forget how to count the days?